When we talk about the queens of music, the names roll out like a royal decree, each one undeniable in her own right. You have Aretha Franklin, the Queen of Soul; Mary J. Blige, the Queen of Hip-Hop and R&B; Ella Fitzgerald, the Queen of Jazz; and Dolly Parton, the Queen of Country Music. But there is one throne that has always seemed contested, belonging to the genre that was loved, hated, and yet remains the undisputed blueprint for modern dance music. She is the artist who took a polarizing sound, infused it with deep R&B roots, and turned it into a global phenomenon, Donna Summer. She is, without a doubt, the real queen of disco. Her statistics speak for themselves, telling the story of a force of nature: 17 albums, 6 American Music Awards, and 5 Grammy Awards, winning across R&B, rock, gospel, and dance categories. She was the first and only artist to have 3 consecutive double albums hit the top of the Billboard 200 charts. Even more critically, she was the first black woman nominated for an MTV Video Music Award and the first black female artist to have her song played in heavy rotation on MTV. But behind the dazzling lights and the revolutionary sound of disco music lay a story of profound resilience, a journey through childhood violence, crippling depression, and spiritual warfare. How did LaDonna Adrian Gaines overcome so many personal battles to become an artist who sold over 140 million records worldwide? The woman who would become the queen of disco was born LaDonna Adrian Gaines on New Year's Eve, 1948, in Boston, Massachusetts. She was the third of 7 children, 6 girls and 1 boy, raised by deeply religious parents in the city's housing projects. Life in the Gaines household was a constant lesson in survival. Her father, Andrew Gaines, often worked 3 jobs just to keep a roof over their heads, and if food ran low, he simply went fishing to feed his family. From the moment she was a toddler, LaDonna was singing. She was a fan of gospel giants like Mahalia Jackson, and the dramatic flair of Dinah Washington. But the path from the projects to the stage was marked by early violence. When she was a little girl, walking home from school, LaDonna was tragically shot in the face by a small-caliber cap gun or BB gun. The family, shaken by the incident, moved 10 blocks away to a safer, multiracial neighborhood, close to where the Kennedys once lived. Her brother, at that time, was credited with saving her life. It was at the age of 10 that LaDonna's voice first truly shocked her community. After a church soloist fell sick, she got her chance to sing alone. When she stood up and opened her mouth, the sound that poured out was that of a grown woman, a voice so powerful and mature that it brought the entire church congregation to tears. Everyone was in awe, and from that day forward, she was singing 4 or 5 solos every Sunday in different churches. Yet, the rising star carried a secret insecurity. Sometime in her youth, she hit her face on a sharp object connected to a chair, leaving a prominent gash on her cheek. This scar made her feel ugly and unattractive, especially as people mocked her, feeding the deep-seated self-consciousness that would haunt her for years. By high school, she was channeling her talent into musical plays, becoming a popular figure. At 17, she joined a local blues rock band named Crow. She was the only black member and the only female, pressured to emulate the rough, raw sound of rock icon Janis Joplin. Her family's fear for her safety, and LaDonna's own revulsion for the pervasive crime, precipitated a pivotal change. In New York, she had been badly beaten by a black Muslim simply for walking with 2 Jewish friends, and she once narrowly escaped a kidnapping attempt. But the final catalyst for her departure from Boston was far darker. LaDonna witnessed a mugging where gang members she knew, one of whom even attended her church, punched an old woman and stole her purse. The woman died when she hit the ground. LaDonna testified against the gang, leading to death threats. Just weeks shy of graduating, she dropped out of school. Her family urged her to leave Boston for New York immediately. She auditioned for the groundbreaking Broadway musical Hair. She landed the role of Sheila and made a bold decision. She would travel with the show on its European tour, all the way to Germany. Leaving America was, for her, a conscious act of fleeing the racism and crime that felt suffocating. In Germany, the girl from Boston's projects blossomed into a professional performer, starring in productions like Showboat, Godspell, and Porgy and Bess. She became fluent in German. It was here she met a white Austrian actor named Helmut Sommer. They fell in love, married, and had her first daughter, Mimi. Though the marriage ended in divorce, LaDonna kept his last name, which would later be misspelled by her label as Donna Summer. In 1974, she was working as a part-time model and a backup singer for producers Giorgio Moroder and Pete Bellotte. They were developing a revolutionary hybrid sound, mixing soul, pop, and rock with electronic synthesizers. She sang the demo for a song called Hostage, intending it for another artist, but her vocal performance was so compelling, they released it as her debut single. It went #1 in France. Donna Summer was officially born. A true star was ready to shine, waiting for the right note to change the entire world of disco music. LaDonna, now known as Donna Summer, was ready to ascend. Her first major step came in the form of a song that would forever change the sound of modern music, Love to Love You Baby. The original track was intended as a demo for another singer, but Donna, playfully coached by Giorgio Moroder to sing it like Marilyn Monroe, unleashed a vocal performance of undeniable sensuality. Moroder and Pete Bellotte were so impressed they kept her vocal. When the demo reached Neil Bogart of Casablanca Records in America, he demanded a longer version, 17 minutes, to be exact, to satisfy the continuous groove of the nascent disco clubs. The song became an immediate global smash. It was not just a hit, it was a controversy. The extended version was famously calculated to include what some claim were 22 orgasms. While Casablanca Records, with Bogart at the helm, championed the track, the British BBC banned it. In the United States, Reverend Jesse Jackson mobilized his organization, Operation Push, to publicly campaign against the song, claiming it promoted teen pregnancy and immorality. For Donna, the song's success was a double-edged sword. She was instantly catapulted back to America after 8 years in Europe, transformed from an aspiring actress into an international sex symbol. This newfound status was overwhelming and terrifying for the deeply religious girl from the projects. She began to fear for her life. Fans would mob her, men and women threw their underwear onto the stage, and stalkers followed her constantly. In Italy, during one performance of the infamous song, the crowd became so crazed that she had to be physically rushed off the stage to her trailer as the venue was nearly torn apart. Adding to her distress, rumors started circulating that she was a transvestite due to her popularity in the thriving gay club scene, compounded by her height and large hands. People would stare at her during interviews, then awkwardly comment, "You don't look like a man." The pressure, coupled with her religious background, became so intense that she refused to perform "Love to Love You Baby" live for years, feeling exposed and perpetually endangered. Despite the chaos, her genius was undeniable. She delivered a string of critically acclaimed albums, constantly pushing the envelope of disco music. She experimented with styles, culminating in the 1977 hit, "I Feel Love," a futuristic, entirely synthesized track that pioneered the electronic dance music sound and was recognized with an induction into the Dance Music Hall of Fame. The song "Last Dance," 1978, won her first Grammy for Best Female R&B Vocal Performance. The peak of her dominance came with the 1979 release of the double album Bad Girls. It went triple platinum and spun off the massive hits Hot Stuff and Bad Girls, both reaching #1. Hot Stuff made history, earning Donna the Grammy for Best Female Rock Vocal Performance, the first black artist to win a Grammy in a rock category. Most impressively, Donna made history as the first and only artist ever to have 3 consecutive double albums reach the #1 spot on the U.S. Billboard 200 charts, Live and More, Bad Girls, and on the radio. She topped the charts with "No More Tears, Enough Is Enough," a powerful duet with Barbra Streisand. Donna Summer was not just a pop star, she was an industry powerhouse. Her success with disco music proved its commercial viability, directly paving the way for other artists in the genre. Yet, even at this pinnacle of fame, the cracks in her foundation were beginning to show, foreshadowing the immense personal crisis to come. The high-octane life that powered disco music was slowly destroying the woman at its center. Despite the triple platinum sales and historic chart domination, LaDonna Gaines was deeply unhappy. The immense pressure to be the sex symbol clashed violently with her strict, religious upbringing. She was exhausted, lonely on the road, and struggling with the devastating fact that her ex-husband was attempting to gain custody of their daughter, Mimi. All of this stress culminated in severe anxiety and depression. The record label pressure was relentless, demanding the sexy image be maintained. She couldn't sleep or find rest due to the constant churn of worry. The doctors prescribed Valium, which she quickly became dependent on, describing the feeling as being a zombie or spaced out. The crisis reached its absolute low point when Donna Summer attempted to take her own life. Alone in a hotel room, overwhelmed by the feeling that she didn't want to live another minute, she made her way to the window. She attempted to get her foot out onto the ledge, but a curtain wrapped around a radiator tangled her leg, stopping her. At that very moment, a housekeeper opened the door and saw her, a shocking intervention that ultimately saved her life. This near-death experience became her spiritual breaking point. She realized the medication was not the answer. Her sister helped reconnect her to her Christian roots, and Donna Summer became a born-again Christian, praying her way off the Valium addiction. Her mental health crisis coincided with a massive legal battle. Feeling she had no control over her career or her image at Casablanca Records, and physically and emotionally ill from the environment, Donna left the label. She subsequently filed a $10 million lawsuit against Neil Bogart's label. The legal fees were staggering, reportedly costing her upwards of $80 million before she finally settled. The settlement required her to deliver one final album to them, but crucially, she was able to retain her publishing rights. The most damaging blow to her personal and professional life came in 1983. Amidst her spiritual revival and the ongoing AIDS crisis, a magazine published an article alleging that Donna Summer had made derogatory remarks about the gay community and HIV/AIDS at one of her shows, supposedly stating, "God made Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve." This controversy was devastating. Her biggest and most loyal fan base was the very community she was accused of condemning. Donna vehemently denied ever making the statements, asserting she never chose friends based on sexual preference and had always embraced her gay fan base. She filed a $30 million lawsuit against New York Magazine. The rumors severely hurt her career, with some DJs and clubs refusing to play her records. While the case was eventually settled out of court, the damage was done. The Queen of Disco, who had defined a liberating cultural movement, was now unjustly battling a reputation as anti-gay, a struggle that would follow her for years. The fight for her image and her dignity was now a public, televised war, forcing her to be tougher than ever. The girl who fled Boston violence now had to confront a different kind of violence, the power of rumor and betrayal, in the American media. In a final act of professional defiance, Donna Summer fulfilled her contract obligation to her former label. This led to the release of She Works Hard for the Money in 1983. The album and the title track, a defiant anthem for the working woman, took the world by storm. The music video achieved a historic milestone. It became the first video by an African-American female artist to be placed in heavy rotation on MTV. This accomplishment was monumental, occurring at a time when black artists had to actively fight for airplay on the network, an undeniable turning point for black visibility in pop culture. The concept for the song came from a deeply personal, human moment. Donna was at a Grammys party and saw the elderly bathroom attendant asleep in the corner. Her immediate thought was, "Man, she works hard for the money." The song's lyrics were scribbled onto a piece of toilet paper that night. With the legal battle settled, Donna reclaimed control over her life. She married singer-songwriter Bruce Sudano and dedicated time to raising her children. In a touching commitment to her past, she returned to Boston in 1983 to finally receive her high school diploma, years after she had to drop out due to gang threats. The girl who sought refuge in Europe was now comfortable enough to live a quiet life, cultivating a passion for painting that saw her brilliant, critically acclaimed works sell for tens of thousands of dollars. Donna Summer performed for President Ronald Reagan's inaugural celebration in 1985 and, decades later, for President Barack Obama's Nobel Peace Prize concert in 2009. She proved that her voice transcended genres and politics. Her career spanned 5 decades, culminating in her final album, Crayons, 2008, which still yielded a #1 hit on the U.S. dance club songs charts. Her influence, particularly the innovative electronic sound of disco music she pioneered, is considered a critical ancestor to today's electronic dance music, EDM, and helped open doors for hip-hop. The woman who conquered the dance floor with a sound so immense had a surprisingly quiet ending. On May 17, 2012, Donna Summer died at her home in Naples, Florida, at the age of 63, after a battle with lung cancer. The news shocked the world. She had kept her illness private, looking vibrant and healthy in her final public appearances. The fact that she was a non-smoker led to heartbreaking speculation. Her family history showed a hereditary risk, as her mother and younger sister also died of the disease. However, another tragic theory emerged. Rooted in the chaos she fled, Donna was in her New York apartment near Ground Zero on September 11, 2001, when the attacks occurred. She reportedly suffered from severe depression afterwards and never left her house for a while, fearing the toxic asbestos dust clouds that permeated the city after the collapse of the Twin Towers. It is a devastating thought, that an American icon, who fled the violence of the streets as a girl, may have ultimately been felled by the invisible dust of a national tragedy. Yet, her legacy is not in her end, but in the echoes she left behind. Donna Summer was finally inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2013, a recognition long overdue, affirming her place among the legends she once sang beside. Her song, I Feel Love, was added to the National Recording Registry, cementing its position as a historically important work of art. Her greatest contribution lies in her influence. She did not just define disco music, she fundamentally changed the trajectory of the music industry. Her electronic innovations paved the way for modern dance genres, and her commercial success cracked the door open for black women on platforms like MTV, creating space for every female artist who followed. The story of Donna Summer is a profound American narrative of survival. A black woman from the projects who overcame childhood trauma, fought crippling depression and addiction, challenged the constraints of a misogynistic industry, and found her peace through faith. Her life was defined by the deep courage it took to stand up against her record label, her stalkers, and even the rumors that tried to tear her down. If this story resonates with you, if you recognize the strength it takes to fight for your identity and your dignity, take a moment to explore the full depth of her journey. Donna's daughter, Brooklyn Sudano, is currently working on a documentary about her mother's life. Or, if you prefer the written word, look up her beautiful and frank autobiography, Ordinary Girl. The queen of disco is gone, but the beat of disco music is her forever echo. Don't let the music stop.